Please welcome a living example of personal responsibility, a school teacher and coach, and the next Democratic senator from Texas, Victor Morales.
Thank you. Thank you. How many miles you put on the
He's not rich,
No,
not famous.
I'm a simple man.
He didn't have high name recognition,
I'm Victor Morales, a school teacher.
and he thought he'd run for the Senate.
Who ran your campaign?
I did.
Well, who handled the phones?
I didn't.
Sounds far-fetched until he won the Democratic nomination in Texas.
Beat 3 people, 2 congressmen and a lawyer.
Josh Mankiewicz on the most unlikely candidate of 1996.
Can you win this?
Absolutely.
Well, ahead. What do you call a man who's not rich, has no connections, and no organization?
They just didn't take me serious.
What do you call him? How about the Democratic nominee from Texas?
Did this all really happen?
You bet it did. Maria Shriver.
It was the political headline of the week. Bob Dole retiring after 27 years in the Senate to concentrate full-time on his run for the White House. It's a bold move, but necessary according to some political analysts because polls show Dole trailing badly against President Clinton. But bold hardly begins to describe the candidate you're about to meet. A man who came out of nowhere to mount a surprisingly serious bid to join the exclusive club Dole is now leaving. Here's Josh Mankiewicz.
When Mr. Smith went to Washington in 1939, he did so with a spring in his step
Just take one.
and idealism in his heart.
I introduced a bill. Me, Jeff Smith. I got up and spoke in the Senate.
But that kind of corny enthusiasm doesn't exist in politics anymore. Or does it?
Okay, Morales, Mexican-American.
He's a pint-sized candidate in a 10-gallon business, and he's already done the impossible. Having never held an office higher than small-town city council, Victor Morales is suddenly the first ever Latino nominee for the U.S. Senate in Texas. You never ran for statewide office?
No, sir, not statewide.
Are you rich?
No.
He was earning $36,000 a year teaching high school government in Mesquite, Texas, telling his students to get involved. And one day he took his own advice. Angered by the national debate over affirmative action, this 46-year-old Vietnam vet dipped into his savings account and went into politics.
Why not a teacher, man?
All right, well, good luck.
Why not a school teacher?
You took $8,000 out of the bank?
Right.
Who ran your campaign?
I did.
Well, who handled the phones?
I did. Mailed out the packets, made the quick copies, scheduled it.
Will there be like 50, 60 people there?
It was in this 2-room campaign headquarters, commonly called a kitchen and dining room, that Victor Morales started his lonely march through the Lone Star State.
I'm driving next week for about 4 or 5 straight days.
He raised and spent $50,000. His main opponent in the Democratic primary, 10 times that. How many Democratic endorsements did you get during the primary?
Let's see, none.
None. They didn't think you were going to win.
No, I didn't think I was going to do well at all. I mean, I was told from behind the scenes that I would finish 4th if I was lucky out of 4.
Without big money to drive his campaign, Victor drove it himself, behind the wheel of his 1992 Nissan pickup. How many miles you put on the truck?
About 58,000.
Where'd you sleep?
There was a couple of times I slept in the truck, and a lot of times people would offer me their homes, stay in a sofa, a mattress on the floor, and then when I wanted to splurge, I'd stay at a motel, you know, $20 motel.
And then you're not leaving until tomorrow morning for El Paso?
Yeah.
He took a leave of absence from his high school, left his 2 children with his wife, and began driving across America's second-largest state, speaking to voters wherever he found them. Gas stations,
Victor Morales,
fast food restaurants,
I'm a school teacher.
truck stops.
The feeling is that I'm going to be in a runoff.
But it wasn't until an impromptu speech at a fireman's convention that Morales discovered his campaign slogan.
They said, we have Victor Morales, the United States Senate candidate. Victor, would you say a few words? I went, oh, what am I going to say? So I walked up there, And the first thing that came to my mind was, as I looked at him, was, ¿y por qué no? Which in Spanish is, and why not?
Why not?
And why not a school teacher? And why not someone that doesn't have millions of dollars? Why not an ordinary working man?
Why not? Because Victor Morales is stuck in a time machine, campaigning the way it used to be done before TV ads, focus groups, and tracking polls took over.
We have reached a defining moment in America.
Today, what defines American politics is big budget, big money campaigns, promoting candidates who exist primarily on television and who've been in public service their entire working lives. Politics is no longer a calling, it's a business. Don't you need a pollster?
No.
Don't you need a speechwriter?
No.
Image consultant?
No.
Guy to kind of fluff up your hair right before you go on television?
No, I can brush my own hair.
We are all in this together. Thank you very much.
And remarkably, it worked. Victor beat two better-known and better-financed U.S. congressmen in the primary and won the Democratic nomination. He was helped by a big Latino turnout and by spending a lot of one-on-one time with voters.
Congratulations. Thank you.
What kinds of things were people telling you?
They're tired of sound bites.
Read my lips.
I still believe in a place called hope.
Victor's politics don't lend themselves to catchphrases. A self-described moderate, Victor has an opinion on everything from the U.S. withdrawing from NATO, he's against it, to charging ranchers grazing fees, he's for it. But with 18 years in the classroom, his positions seem designed more to start discussions than to win them. He's pro-choice, but believes there are too many abortions. He supports the death penalty, but thinks it's inconsistently applied. He's a gun owner, but supports the ban on assault weapons. And most unusual is Victor's willingness to utter three words that traditional politicians never say.
Oh, this is one of those questions where if I say I don't know, I get torn apart, but I don't know.
In politics, saying you don't know the answer just isn't done.
No, you get attacked for that because you're supposed to know, I guess.
I think it's not a sin to not know.
No, it's the truth. It's the truth. It's the truth. However, that doesn't mean you don't have the intelligence to go work on it, research it, become informed, and then make a judgment call.
In November, the stakes get higher.
And I congratulate him on his effort.
Victor will face the senior senator from Texas, Republican Phil Graham. Graham, who earlier this year mistakenly believed that large numbers of Americans wanted him to be president, is running for re-election to the Senate, with a double-digit lead in the polls, millions in the bank, and more coming in every day. Once again, the odds look hopeless for Victor. And once again, he says he won't change the one-man, one-vote formula that got him here.
What I tried to do wherever I stopped is make sure that I gave them what I like to call quality time. Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20 minutes.
20 minutes with each voter sounds great, but there are about 10 million registered voters in Texas. If you assume that only about 5 million of them actually go to the polls, you'd still need about 2.5 million to win. 2.5 million voters times 20 minutes is 50 million minutes, which means that between now and November, Victor Morales needs to spend about 95 years lining up his support. What's your message, that we ought to talk more and yell less?
Right, a balance. That's what I do. When a parent comes to me angry, and there was a situation in my classroom, and I know I did the right thing, and the parent's angry, I don't get defensive. I wait till the parent calms down, we discuss it, and work it out.
This is as simplistic an answer as saying, I'm going to get in my truck, drive across Texas, meet a lot of people, and get elected to the Senate.
Right. I've never said at any time during my campaign that I'm going to come up there and be the man on the white horse to save the Senate, to save the United States, to save Texas. I'm just a man who will not dance for someone, who doesn't have a secret agenda of becoming powerful or becoming richer.
He's an anti-candidate in a year when voters hate politicians. Despite that, the odds are against November finding Victor victorious.
So how can I win in 25 words or less? No.
Do you have the resume that's required for a U.S. Senator?
Yes. I'm over 30, citizen of the United States, a resident of Texas. And as far as other factors, I have la ganas, the desire, el corazón, the heart, inteligencia, intelligence. I have those.
But not el dinero.
Not el dinero. That is true.
Not everything is bigger in Texas. Read Victor's lips and you'll find only the kind of promises Little League coaches ask of their teams: to play fair and try hard.
I'm just a man who says, look, I'm going to try to do the best I can, okay? Hopefully I can help Texas and I can help the United States. That's it.
If you think Victor Morales still doesn't have a prayer of winning, here's something to ponder. Once upon a time, another teacher from Texas, from a poor background, tried his luck in politics. He went on to become the 36th president, Lyndon Baines Johnson.